Hello friends, today I am going to reveal some true facts of most remarkable train journeys in Europe. But first of all, I request you to please share and subscribe my channel for getting my informative true facts videos uninterrupted. Please note that subscription of my channel is free of cost. Now, most remarkable train journeys in Europe. If you experience a brief moment on the train journey between Lucerne and Lake Geneva in Switzerland, when you found yourself peering at your reflection in the spotless window wondering if this experience was real. Just beyond your reflection, a lush green valley dotted with Swiss salads, the odd one puffing little plumes of smoke, and the cool spring air washed silently past. A narrow river fueled by melting snow flowed rapidly between the salads, filtering into a pristine turquoise lake further up the valley. And towering up all around this living tourism brochure were the giant Swiss Alps. The highest peaks, visible through the windows in the ceiling of the carriage, escaped the warming sun and the still bad light dustings of snow. For many inside the train, there was little more than the daily commute, but for at least one wide-eyed tourist lucky enough to spontaneously stumble into a seat on the Golden Pass Express, it was nothing short of spectacular. Scenic train rides like the one you luckily found in Europe, and though it is true that many of the continent's most remarkable journeys are confined to the Alps, there are also dozens further afield well worth seeking out. Here is I am going to reveal some true facts of some remarkable train journeys. Now, Jacobite train, Scotland. The Jacobite train is commonly described as the world's greatest railway journey, and that is not an over-exaggeration. This incredible Scottish rail route and steam train travelled as an inspiration for the Hogwarts Express, and though this has caused a flurry of excitement from Harry Potter fans around the world, it is an unmissable excursion even for those not au fait with the novels. That is because the journey takes you close to some of Great Britain's most breathtaking extremes, from the country's highest mountains to its deepest sea and freshwater loss to its shortest river. Beautiful nature and aside, you will also choose to throw a handful of quaint Scottish villages before arriving in the coastal town of Malay, a busy fishing port in the highlands dating back to the mid-1800s. The train runs according to a seasonal service, so it is important to double check departure times ahead of time and book well in advance. But given the views, the history and the fantastical undertones, there are few rail journeys worthier of your advanced planning than this. Now, Bergen Line, Norway. Bergen Line, Norway. If you are looking to think of the most iconic train ride in Norway and ride one of the Europe's most celebrated scenic route, then book into your ticket for the Bergen Line between Oslo and Bergen. It is 310 miles, 7 hours extravaganza past some of the Norway's most varied scenery and dramatic mountain tops. Much of the journey went through beautifully stark and desolate terrain, but it is also an important means of transport for residents and visitors alike. During winter months, it fills with the skies heading to the famous slopes along the way. This is the highest mainline railway in Scandinavia, and its completion in the early 1900s was an impressive achievement. Though it's celebrating the 110th year since the first train left Bergen, the modern trains that now services to this line are anything but dated. Roma Line, Norway. Roma Line, Norway. If you are looking for a Scandinavian journey with diversity and action, then head for Norway's Roma Railway. Between the towns of Adolescence and the mountainous villages of Dombosch. The journey between the two takes less than 2 hours, but the train carries you past tall wagon wall and killing and breeze and right through Revend National Park, famous for the reindeer who calls it home. Given the relatively short journey time, this train ride makes for an incredible return day trip for Andersness. Rhine Valley Line, Germany. Rhine Valley Line, Germany. Germany's Rhine Valley Line is the stuff of fairy tale and legend. Unlike many thrilling scenic train journeys in Europe, this is one of the somewhat more sedate. This is exactly what makes it so appealing. The Rhine Railway runs through the heart of German wine country between the towns of Mainz and Koblenz. At times just a few feet from the famous river after which it is named. The route is not short on scenic beauty, thanks to views of the river and the Rhine Valley's towering peaks. But it is the numerous castles and quaint small towns along the way that gives the route an intriguing edge. The journey is not a long one. If you choose one of the numerous highest speed trains, you can complete it in under an hour. But most travelers choose the slower regional trains and stop off along the way to sample world famous Rhine Valley wine as close to the source as possible. Over the top line, Germany and Austria. Over the top line, Germany and Austria. The somewhat inconspicuous rail route between Innsbruck and Munich via Garmisch, Pattenkanzin and Mittenwald delivers a range of scenic surprises. It is operated by the Deutsche Bahn, an Austrian federal railway that includes a stint on the Mittenwald railway. But because it is not the quickest route between the two cities, many overlooks it. Online maps and automatic routes finders will tend to push up you towards the faster but less interesting intercity line between the two cities. But the most memorable journey traverses by seafold and dubbed over the top. On a clear day, it delivers views of Jagspitz, the highest mountain in Germany, and the remainders of the route serves to remarkable alpine views. The driver into the Innsbruck Valley is truly something, particularly during winter month when thick layers of snow line the trackside and mountains. Because the route is not a branded scenic line, it costs a fraction of the others better marketed attractions and it will alight it with a sense of the inno satisfaction. Schemmering-Bahn, Austria. Schemmering-Bahn, Austria. Austria is 41 km. Schemmering-Bahn line may be relatively short, but it passes through the alpine terrain, so dramatic. It has earned the entire route UNESCO World Heritage status, not to mention the UNESCO levels of one of the greatest feats of the civil engineering. Though it dates back to the 1850s, this line passing between Glocknitz and Mudslag is still in impeccable condition and offers plenty of thrills by the striking stone bridges and 15 tunnels it encompasses. Of course, through the Austrian way, the trains run efficiently here and the scenery is everything you had expected for a route that cuts its way to the incredible Alps. Cinque Terre Train, Italy. Cinque Terre Train, Italy. The steep slopes and colorful seasides villages of Cinque Terre are among Italy's most popular tourist attraction. Many flock there simply to bask on one of the iconic beaches or hike the rugged cliffs, but the area also features an incredible train journey including itinerary. The Cinque train operated by Trenitalia runs between the La Spezia and Levanto, stopping at various points along the way. It is not a long journey. If you ride the train start to finish, it will take you to just 30 minutes. Just 30 minutes. But most choose to stop off the iconic towns along the way and meander along the cliff. And thanks to panoramic sea views and a coastal atmosphere, this is a truly unique European rail experience. Golden Pass Express, Switzerland. Golden Pass Express, Switzerland. Switzerland's Golden Pass train connects Lucerne to Montreux on the shores of Lake Geneva. In just 5 hours, it serves the condensed Swiss highlights package, complete with jaw-dropping views of picturesque villages, vast mountains, fertile valleys, and pristine rivers and lakes. The trains are sleek and ultra-modern, but if you switch to into Golden Pass classic carriage at the rail halfway mark, you will be able to experience what it was like the journey during the golden age of the rail travel. These retro trains that run between Juesming and Montreux have gold-trimmed luggage tracks, wood finishes, carpeted as plush armchair-like seating, and waiters who will take you food or drink ordered at your seat. Many take the journey from start to finish simply to explore the scenic beauty along the way. But most breaks their journey en route to Lake Geneva with a stop in the popular tourist city of Interlaken, which boasts dramatic alpine and lake views and all the amenities of a premier resort town. Or they have hop abroad in another train and venture up to the valley to the painfully quaint town of Lauterbrunnen, just 20 minutes from Interlaken. Bernina Express, Switzerland. Bernina Express, Switzerland. While you are in St. Moritz, you may as well hop aboard the Glacier Express, these rival the Bernina Express, technically beginning in Chur, the oldest city in Switzerland, but connecting the several small towns along the way. The route runs over the Alps, at times improbably, and into Italy. The shorter than its glacier competitor, and this line is no less dramatic. At its highest point, you will traverse the Bernina Mountains Pass and Rattles Pass, 3 pristine lakes and a large glacier, before dipping down towards Tirano on a scintillating set of tracks. UNESCO recognizes this railway line for bringing together 2 historic railways and several isolated mountain villages, one separated by the massive Alps. In order to achieve this, engineers built dozens of tunnels and viaducts on precarious mountain passes, and as such, for many passengers, the journey is not actually about the scenery. 2 structures in particular get the engineering fans out of their seats: the 213-foot high Landeswasser viaduct and the circular Brusio Loop viaduct. The Bernina Express terminates in Tirano, but if you are eager to return to Swiss soil, there are official Bernina buses like escort Lake Como and deliver you back to another Swiss lakeside haven in Lugano. Glacier Express, Switzerland. Glacier Express, Switzerland. The Glacier Express is perhaps the most iconic scenic train ride in the Switzerland, if not the world. Over the course of 8 hours, it carves a line through the Alps between the 2 of the country's most exclusive destinations, a car-free ski resort town of Zermatt, famous for its jagged Matterhorn, and the exquisite lakeside village of St. Moritz. In spite of its name, the journey is anything but rapid instead. The Glacier Express chugs along the serene pace that allows you to take it all in. That many hours on a train might sound like too much, but considering the remarkable scenery you will glimpse via oversized windows along the way, you will hardly be complaining. In winter, the train lives up to its name and delivers views of a frozen Swiss wonderland dotted with cross-country skies, frozen rivers, and thick white snow several feet deep. In summer, the snow thaws to reveal lush green fields, waving hikers and rapidly flowing rivers, with the highest peaks still spotting a dusting of white. The glacier space trains are the epitomes of the modern features at seat service, real plates and silverware in first class, careful climate control, and the requisite panoramic windows that allow you to crane your neck up to see the very top of the Alps. All of this comes at a price, particularly if you are selling out for first class. But for many, this journey occupies a top ultimate travel bucket list. Gotthard Panorama Express, Switzerland. Gotthard Panorama Express, Switzerland. There are several efficient ways to travel between Zurich and Lugano, and the recently rebranded Gotthard Panorama Express is not one of them. That is because this team, previously called the Wilhelm Tell Express, does everything in its power to show across the best of Swiss scenery between these two cities, even if that comes at the expenses of speed. Not only does the route takes you over 205 bridges through 7 loop tunnels and deep into the Alps via the 15-kilometer long Gotthard Tunnel, at the time of construction the longest in the world, but it is also given the opportunity to depart the train and to complete part of the journey by historic steamboat. The scenery changes constantly, and if you travel from north to south, you will go from beautiful alpine surroundings to almost balmy lakeside cities, boasting palm trees and stone houses in the south of the country. Though there are easy or rare connections throughout the year that delivers elements of these attractions. This seasonal line's unique combination of both Gotthard Tunnel and scenery make it must look. Montenegro Express, Montenegro and Serbia. Montenegro Express, Montenegro and Serbia. Unlike the famous carefully branded train journeys of Western and Central Europe, the line that connects Montenegro, Bars and Serbia's Belgrade doesn't have a carefully considered name, a flashy website or a slew of catchy hashtags following it around. In the absence of these or any real official online presence for that matter. Most travelers have dubbed it either as the Montenegro Express or the Balkan Express. These trains also lack climate control, dining carts, first-class compartments, and any real commitment to the schedule. But what Montenegro Express lacks in branding is it more than makes up for in charms. The line dates back to the days of Josip Tito, the first president of Yugoslavia. He opened it in 1976 to run the blue train, which ferried him at several famous guests across the Balkans in style. Though the luxurious train now languishes in a shed outside the Serbian capital, a ramshackle collection of carriages continue to the path it set, winding through the hundreds of tunnels and across thrilling bridges, including Mala Rizek Viaduct, the highest of Europe. Despite the lack of the creature comfort, the snow-filled all-day adventure cost just a handful of coins and for surpasses anything you will find in a sleek panoramic carriage out west. That is because you will struggle to find any rail journey on the continent that offers a tale like that of the Josip Tito's, combined with engineering marvels in the form of 254 tunnels and 435 bridges that whip through and over as they ascend and descend at times, frankly terrifying aerial mountain terrain. In my next video, I will reveal some true facts of other more interesting topics. Thanks.